Testing, testing. Hello everyone, welcome to PDC Season 8, regular season matchup between our Pause One is Legend versus 4's. Hopefully, we don't have camera bug like we did last series, and we actually get to watch the game. But never know, if that happens, we'll just watch it, spectate it normally. I'm not too familiar with the meta heroes of this patch. I think that it's still settling in terms of which heroes are good, which heroes are getting picked. I haven't watched any tournament games either, so all I know is Wraith King and Venge and Witch Doctor and Rasta are all pretty popular. We see the Wraith King get banned there. Enchantress, I imagine, is one of the players on 4's, plays that hero quite a bit. So that's gone. We see Clockwork, Axe, and Silencer get banned. It's interesting to see CK not get banned because our Pause One is Legend tends to pick Chaos Knight first when it's available and run that as a support, quite the powerful support. Dawnbreaker gets banned as well. It's interesting seeing the Dawn and Silencer get banned because usually those heroes counter each other out. And there's going to be the first pick CK. So CK is a pretty bullying support when it's played in that position. CK is very fast, has good armor, has very high damage. You can pull people in. You have a long range, reliable stun. And then mid game, you go stuff like Aetherlands and the Tranquil Boots to just run up to people and pull them in. It basically has the range of Pudgehook when you get the level 10 talent plus Aetherlands. So quite the dynamic hero, which our Pause One is Legend has been picking quite a bit and has not been getting banned that much versus them. Earthshaker comes out from 4's. That's a pretty reliable hero that can be flexed in either the support or core roles. We see Animage get banned on the our Pause One is Legend. That immediately makes me think of like Medusa, potentially a Medusa pick. And our Pause One is Legend is known to play that hero. Back to Earthshaker. Earthshaker just adds a lot of team fight to the team. Not the best laner, and that's where you really have to punish the hero. Earthshaker really likes to roam around, unless it's like a mid Earthshaker. And if you do play it core, it can do very well in lane. You just spam Ws to ensure last hits and try to harass as much as possible with the slugger. Morphling gets banned from our Pause One is Legend. I don't think Morphling has a very high win rate, so I imagine that's also another hero that's getting banned out for the fact that one of the players plays it. And Juggernaut last banned for 4's. That makes me think that they want to pick some kind of magic team. Lifestealer is still in the pool. Our Pause One is Legend does occasionally pick Lifestealer. We see the Earthshaker now Lion, so a lot of magic damage coming out from those supports. Lion does not have great clear versus the Chaos Knight illusions. If you get the Ags, you get that AoE. You can do decent with that. Lion can also be flex, so not sure where these two heroes are going on the side of 4's. I suppose I could pull up some stats from Spectral.gg, but we'll see if I can do that in time. Lich gets picked. Lich, I read an article on Dota Buff that Lich is like an up-and-coming support and is very powerful in lane. You just get the Sinister Gaze facet, and you just spam spells in lane over and over and over. So if you don't have any kind of regen laner versus Lich, Lich has a very fun time in lane. I imagine that's the 5. And a Kunkka, likely going to be a mid Kunkka, getting picked pretty early. That leaves a lot of flexibility for our Pause One is Legend to pick their offlaner and one. Kunkka provides a lot of initiation and counter initiation to the team, provides a lot of durability to the team. Kunkka's just a solid laner. It's very hard to lose a lane as Kunkka. And yeah, just adds a lot of disable, catch, and damage to whatever team he's on. So our pause when his legend has, I've casted a lot of games for this team, and our pause when his legend tends to pick lineups that just kind of run you over, just like wind lanes, and then just build XYZ items that just allow you to run at heroes and pick heroes off whenever you show to make teams feel very scared and force them back into their own side of the map, creating infinite space for whatever hard carry they pick. You have a lot of stun on 4/4s. Snapfire, again, is a hero that can be flexed into any lane. Let's see if I can find them online. If this is a support Snapfire, you can combo the cookie with any kind of like hero that wants to buy Blink to try and get them in range for their spells. So like an Earthshaker in this game, you can cookie them in to get them in range for like an Echo Slam or a Fissure or whatever. Snapfire can be a good laner. It also provides a bit of illusion clear for the CK. There's the Medusa. So Animage is banned, and 4/4s takes advantage of that to pick up the Medusa. Maybe it was a bait to bait out the Medusa. Maybe our Plasma is Legend has some kind of hero in mind to try and punish a Medusa pick. But other than Animage, the only heroes that really like destroy Medusa are like heroes with high attack speed that go Diffusal, like Windrunner. Odie's kind of a traditional killer for Medusa. Medusa these days isn't as strong as she was compared to like a patch or two ago. They like her power is really in that off lane position where you just stack a bunch of mana. As the one, she doesn't really go any mana items, and she's pretty squishy comparatively. Our puzzle legend picks Ursa, so you can kind of see like they're drafting just a ton of just run at you heroes between the CK, Kunkka, Ursa. The Lich can cast Frost Shields on any of these heroes as like a pseudo save. If there's any kind of clump by 4/4s, you can also chain frost them. 4/4s with that Medusa pick, that tells me that they're not trying to like win lanes and then transition into trying to find kills. They're probably gonna play a more passive farming role this game and react to whatever our pause when his legend is doing. And their laners are not particularly strong versus this draft. We have to see. Like they picked the Medusa. That has to be like it could be a 3 Medusa, but it's most likely going to be a 1. And if I'm just speculating what the mid matchups are, I would say that, or what the matchups are, I would say that Earthshaker and the Lion are the supports, Snapfire is some kind of core, maybe a mid or an offlaner. And so that leaves you with your mid or off lane that needs to be picked. Our plus one as legend bans out the Timbersaw. And that's a hero that can punish run-in heroes. He kind of just stands on the front line, can zone heroes out, do a ton of damage without especially needing items. I'm trying. So 4/4s, they really want to play like that reactionary game. So they having that really meaty frontliner, they try and like stop a lot of this initiation and jump that our Plasma's Legend is fielding right now would be nice. Other heroes like that could be like a Primal, but it's not as tanky as a Timber. You could consider like a Necrophos. Necrophos is pretty popular these days. Also, you can run the Necrophos mid against the Kunkka. And I believe that is Necrophos favored in that lane. DK Sniper get banned. That tells me that 4/4s is trying to protect whatever mid they're thinking of, if this is their mid final pick. I finally get the stats for 4/4s. Let's see what these players pick. So Ursa, yeah. Deuce is likely going to be the 1. Snapfire has not been picked by them, so unsure where that's going. Earthshaker has been picked by Meepo Cabra. Mid lane. Mid Earthshaker. Okay. And Lion picked by Samsung as the 5. Okay, so likely going to be support Lion, support Snap, mid Earthshaker. Earthshaker, I don't think does very well against Kunkka. Kunkka kind of stomps mid laners. Or melee mid laners without any kind of regen. Centaur final pick, just run at you heroes, win lanes, win game. Not a ton of great tower pushers, but the idea on our Pause When His Legends draft is just win the lanes, just create a ton of space, and kind of farm up whatever items you need to win future team fights and break high ground. 4/4s, I mean, I saw this last series. They're going to need to pick a hero that can just create space for the Medusa. They go Puck. And Sevil is... I think Sevil might be a stand-in for theirs. I know they're playing with the stand-in. I'm not sure who it is, though. But I am not sure what these lanes are, so I'm not going to speculate on how the lane matchups go until we're in game. Our Plasma's Legend has used this kind of draft for the majority of the season, and they've won quite a few games with it. 4/4s, if you're not aware, it has one of the worst records in the league thus far. So Vegas odds would probably put our Plasma's Legend as a heavily favored team here. And it seems like they caught kind of the draft that they'd be hoping for. All these heroes are all very commonly picked by this team. And 4/4s, they have a lot of AoE magic damage. Medusa provides them physical damage late. Puck can go physical damage, like a late game core with Aghanims, and you just pick a bunch of physical damage items. As we load in, let me make sure we have no issues with the stream. Yeah, it looks like we just have one commenter, but everything seems to be working. All right. Let me get my camera here. One moment. Everything working? There we go. All right, both teams are going to smoke out. And Radiant are running top, Dire running top. So we might have some kind of action here. CK is going to be the first one to run up. They put a ward down, smoke breaks. They're going to see the Earthshaker. Earthshaker's team is not really in position to punish this at the time being. Nice 3-man stun by the Lion there. First Blood is going to go to Dimitri, killing that Earthshaker. Lich getting very low. Medusa trying to get the Lich. Does get it, so Medusa's going to fall, but does get that kill. And these Puck Orbs are doing quite a bit of damage. Lion stun comes out again. Dimitri probably just wants to go home, so he's going to go and commit suicide to try and get a kill. Dies to the Snapfire. Lion now in trouble running away from the Ursa and the Kunkka. Nice stun there by Seal on that CK. Secures a third kill for our Pause When His Legend. 3 for 2. And we're not done yet as Radiant are kind of lingering around. Puck Orb just off the mark. I think the Ursa is going to get away because that orb did not land. But our Plasma's Legend coming out ahead on that exchange. They get the first blood and they get more kills. And go up about 700 gold to start the game. I think that Dire just needed to be a little bit closer, expecting that rotation. Maybe Earthshaker needed to get a ward down. They need to get a ward down to scout it out, but CK placing that ward down to give vision for that stun to set up his team was very nicely done. Alright, so the mid matchups are going to be Emu playing Kunkka versus Sevil on the puck. And I believe that's Kunkka favored. In the top lane, it's going to be Seal on the Chaos Knight supporting Dimitri on the Centaur War Runner. They're going to be playing against Chris on the Medusa, supported by Samsung on the line. This line has to be very careful not to get out of position. Generally, line is a pretty good laner, but CK has 5 armor, 63 damage level 1, so it is extremely difficult to trade with this hero, as you can see. And CK knows it, and CK is just running at this line. Lion's going to be getting this hero down pretty low, though. Nusa has the snake, but not going to be enough damage to do anything. In the bottom lane, Drabs is going to be playing Lich, supporting Granola on the Ursa. They're facing off against... I'm not sure who the core is. I'm guessing Earthshaker. It's going to be ybabts on the Earthshaker and DF Jono on the Snapfire. And this bottom lane, it is an Ursa. Ursa wins lanes if he's able to hit you, and Lich is a very good hero at disabling, slowing, and ooh, this puck is getting very low. Has to be cautious about this range creep. Might see a kill here. Oh, if Emu had pump faked it there, would have gotten the kill. Puck saw it. I don't think Emu does have vision, so could have expected that pump fake to come out. A lot of heroes pretty low right now, so I apologize for trying to concentrate here. Puck is very low, and we'll probably just die to a Torrent Tidebringer combo. And up top, line has to be very careful as well. The CK is around. Earthshaker getting very low. Earthshaker will go down. Seems like, yeah, they just ran at him with the Lich, Sinister Gaze, and Frostblast combo. Bring down that Earthshaker. Top lane now, they're going to go on the Medusa. Nice double stun by Lion. Kind of breaks it up a little bit. Medusa's running out of mana, though. She's now... oh, she pops 1 and a Mango. Very tanky hero, those... with those items, but she's now out of regen. They managed to get the kill on the Centaur War Runner, and Seal have to run away. It's a good pickup there for the Medusa, who did get the last hit. Looking at mid, we have a Torrent on the Puck, getting Puck pretty low. A nice Tidebringer as well. Very high harass. Lich does fall bottom. I'm not sure how Lich died there. Interesting position. Kunkka just diving the mid lane. Look how much damage this Kunkka is doing. You have to be so precise at these phase shifts to not lose this lane. Kunkka just does this versus heroes that don't have regen. Four 4 so far, as we've had a pretty exciting early game. Medusa chilling top with 0 regen. Has the clarity, using that to restore up a little bit. And Snapfire, realizing that something's wrong, tries to get out of there. Has no cookie. Ursa's just going to be able to run down this hero. That's an easy kill. Earthshaker committing now, trying to kill the Lich. Not sure if you want to be doing that. Lich has a very good slows. Or slow uptime, I should say. And that's just going to be an easy double kill for Granola. CK went over to steal the bounty rune, leaving the Centaur top just to farm up. Double brace or ring of health on that Centaur. I was surprised to see the Earthshaker go for that kill after Snapfire died. You're just running into an Ursa. And you only have the level 2 enchant totem. You don't have that much damage. Mid lane, Kunkka gets 6 before the puck. We're going to see if Kunkka tries to go for anything. Drops the X, drops the Congo. Orb goes out. Ooh, nice play by Puck there. Dodging the boat at the very last second on that illusory orb. Very well done by Seal. Bottom might be a contesting of the Lotus. I'm trying to keep an eye on both sides of the map here. Lotus will be going to Ursa. Earthshaker probably can't even hit creeps anymore at this point. With this Ursa in position to whack him. Although he's going up. No early game rotations thus far. All heroes just hanging out in their own sides of the map. CK is now doing the rotate. Gonna run bottom. And this might be a setup for Wisdom, as we have Puck die. Just straight up dies to the Kunkka. Apologies for missing that. Yeah, looks like we might have a setup for the Wiz. No, they're just gonna dive straight in. They show under tower, but Earthshaker playing a little bit too cautiously. Gets out of there in time. Now these 3 Radiant Heroes are going to be running high ground. Lion's TPing, but it's pretty far away. He's going to have to run over to help out. They kill off the Snapfire. Earthshaker's forced to run. Puck now rotates, so it's 3 versus 3 down here. The Wiz Shrine is still up. Does Puck go on top of it? Puck does. Has enough HP to survive for a little bit longer, but the Service is going to be doing a lot. Drabs on the Radiant does steal the Wisdom, but at this point there's too many Dire Heroes and they're doing a lot of damage. And that's going to be 3 dying. So Snapfire does die, and the Radiant get Wisdom, but that is 3 dead on the side of Arpaz 1 is Legend. Nice gold swing there. And if you factor in the XP was like 280 XP, you can see that XP change was quite significant. Definitely favoring Dire there. Centaur is just free farming at this point with the Lion gone. But Lion has returned, has maxing out the mana drain, so it can cause the Centaur to bleed a little bit. Puck is low once again. And the tower did fall mid. So absolutely a 1 lane for the Kunkka there. I don't have last hits denies up. I apologize for that. We'll take a look at how the lanes went. No. Puck trying to dodge this Kunkka. And yeah, Kunkka is looking at last hits. Okay, we have a Chain Frost committed, killing the Earthshaker bottom. Lich and Ursa now level 6 apiece. Snapfire still level 4, and the Earthshaker just a little bit off 6 himself. And we're going to start doing a little bit of damage to this tower. And we might have another go here. The support's feeling pretty bold, just diving the tier 1, getting the Snapfire out of position. No one's going to TP for Snap. And that would be a dead hero. Yeah, so looking at last hits, Earthshaker and Puck absolutely did not have a fun time in lane. They are sitting at 26-27 last hits apiece. Kunkka with 61 last hits. 18 denies, definitely a good lane for that Kunkka. We have Centaur ult committed. Puck is going to Dream Coil 2 heroes, phase orbs, but gets feared, unable to blink away. Now we have the Echo Slam and Boat committed. No one's dying thus far. CK getting pretty low, is going to start running away. Snapfire did go down to Kunkka's Tidebringer. And Lion and Earthshaker are both very low. CK just kind of hanging around looking for an opportunity. Ursa's here now. And Earthshaker forced to run away. So a 3-for-1 going now the favor of Arpazma's Legend. As they take that high ground fight. Puck TP's in, finds a Kunkka, has no Dream Coil to stop Town Portal Scroll, but Puck does not feel very safe against this Kunkka, even with this paltry amount of HP. And Kunkka's going to find a nice little regen for himself. To the victor's goal, the spoils, I suppose. How's this Dusa doing? Dusa is top CS on team. Actually has more CS than both of her other cores combined. So is farming up here. Centaur has just been free farming, has that blade mill now, probably feels confident enough to go harass the Medusa himself now. She can't really hit him with this blade mill Vanguard. He's very unkillable. I'm not sure why Dire is coming up here. They don't have Echo Slam. They're going to need a lot of magic damage. Lion has no ult. Deuce is going to come over with the Snake. Ooh, it's starting to be enough, but they're killing themselves to the blade now. I guess Centaur just got a little bit out of position, got his mana drained. No mana for Stampede. This is burning a lot of time, but the Snake is going to secure the kill. Chris is going to pick up a nice chunk of change for that. So at the end of the day, those 3 or 4 heroes wasting that amount of time, it nets them about 500 gold. We have smoke play by 3 Radiant heroes. They X the Puck, who's just going to explode instantly. They commit the Chain Frost for that. Now they're going to turn the Medusa, who was low HP from the kill on the Centaur. And Boat's going to come out very well placed. That's going to stun up the Medusa, but this Kunkka is all alone. Both supports behind them are pretty low. Lion gets caught out of position, gets silenced, gets stunned. Stampede comes out. They're going to try and transition this into more kills. Medusa has no stone gaze, so no way to stop this fight from happening. They're going to kill her now. And Mana Boots die on the courier of Snapfire, who still doesn't have level 6. They just keep finding more kills on the side of Radiant. And yeah, 2,000 gold swing, 0 for 4. Just this kind of draft, they just want to run at you. They want to fight. They win lanes and then just come out swinging. Ursa, meanwhile, is just down here happily farming. Got a bunch of kills in lane as well. 414. Look at net worth here. There's the second net worth. Deuce is really the only competition here for Radiant scores, as both Puck and Earthshaker not having a fun time. So the nice thing that Dire has is they have teamfight. They have abilities that don't require spells to be effective and do a lot of damage and lock down a lot of heroes. Dream Coil plus Echo Slam. When I say Echo Slam, looks like he might. I saw this in an early game. Earthshaker actually used Echo Slam to kill a stack. I was thinking that he had used that to kill a stack, but no. Just gets pretty low to it. Anyway, Dream Coil, Echo Slam, Stone Gaze, Mortimer's Kiss. These are all spells that can do a lot of damage and disabling in fights. And so if you do run it blindly into Dire's draft, they can punish you even without items. So you do have to be cautious about that. Chain Frost comes out, nice Blink Echo by ybabts, brings down the CK Lich now. Very low. Frost armors himself, but that's not going to do anything against the Finger. As the Finger comes out, secures that kill. Puck does go down to the Kunkka, who I don't think has any allies around him. Boat's going to come out. Kunkka's just going to turn this around and probably kill these supports. The level 12 Kunkka. He's almost equal level to these 2 heroes combined. Has that arc, chooses not to use it. Just playing it safe, backs up, happy with the kill on the Puck. That's a 2-for-1 favoring Dire. 800 gold swing. And Radiant are just going to immediately smoke up and try and turn this into something else. There's a DD bottom, so this is an excellent time to try and attempt this kind of play. Dire just doesn't feel very confident. You can kind of see they're hanging out near their base, around their base. They only have this one ward up, or that's not their ward. But they're playing around this vision. That's going to see the Snapfire, who gets very low. Qs up the Kunkka, but Snapfire is going to go down. Lich is going to be traded, though. As Dream Coil does go out, they want to bring down this Kunkka, but Kunkka is rummed up. Very difficult hero to kill. CK is going to pull in the Lion, who is now silenced. That was a very unfortunate silence by the Irrationality. Very nicely skilled there by Seal, getting that kill. And a 1 for 2. Even with that disparity, just with deaths, it's still almost an equal exchange of gold. That's how far behind the 4's is right now. They're 10k behind our Posman's Legend. Kanka got that Orchid working towards, I believe, Radiance. Does he have Talisman? Yeah, has the Sacred Relic on Courier. So if he's unkillable, which he's 904, that's an excellent item to have in fights. Ursa, out of Fury. Blink. Surprised to see the Blink and not immediately try to transition that into into kills. Blink does help your farm a little bit if you're using it to blink from camp to camp. But Granola is not opting to do that right now. We have a smoke play by Dire. I do like this. It's going to be the last thing that Radiant expect, but they may have smoked on a ward. They de-ward that. Might be why the Earthshaker de-warded there. But they're going to be placing Vision down. They're going to see the Ursa. Could try and go for this. Earthshaker's alone right now. So his teammates are kind of out of position. Puck's just farming up on the side. If Radiant wanted to, they have the Ursa. They can use that hero to try and get Tormentors, Roshan, basically solo. If they wanted to do kind of a more objective play. We're going to have a go on the Ursa down here as we have a nice disabled byline. No blink, doesn't need it. But now we have a stampede into Bo. They're going to get some blood for this this kill Radiant is. And as they find the Earthshaker, bring him down. Lion stuns up the Centaur. Goes down to that double edge. And this is just going to TP out of there. Kunkka, ooh, Torrent off the mark. Doesn't give vision to stop that Medusa's TP. So 2 for 1. Still a favorable gold and XP trade, even with those two heroes dying. I mean, this Earthshaker is very poor. Up here, oh no, Snap is going to find the Kunkka. Ooh, gets visions. Kunkka gets the X off. Torrents up. Has Orchid, uses it late. And that's going to be a dead Snapfire. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we have Yules being used by Puck defensively. She's going to Dream Coil. You have no follow-up, no Echo Slam, no Mortimer's Kisses. So interesting to see that defensively. Now they don't have that for whatever fight's going to come up next. What's Medusa doing? She's going towards Dragonlance, has that Manta. This was very similar to the last game. Last game? I think it was last game that I casted our Posman's Legend versus, I think it was Costco Hot Dog. I forget what team it was. But our Posman's Legend's opponent also did a Dusa draft, and Dusa just didn't really contribute, and Dusa's team just got kind of rolled over. And they just kind of lost at so much space and just tried to desperately get gold on this Dusa to try and give her items to be able to come back into the game, but it just never happened. Could happen this game though, because this draft with the that the Dusa has with the Puck and Earthshaker and Lion is definitely less item dependent, so they are able to win fights with that, which is why 4's is still extracting blood, even with the gold disparity now. Radiant hasn't really committed to a hard push, like a 5 heroes run down a lane kind of thing. It's a little difficult to do it into Dream Coil, Kisses, Echo Slam. But they could try and attempt that play if these heroes don't have those abilities. We might see that now, though. It seems like Radiant are kind of hanging around looking for a kill opportunity. Earthshaker's mid. Ursa's not here if a fight does happen. They're going to blink in on the Puck. They stack stuns, though. It's not going to matter as the Torrent comes out the very end, securing the kill on the Puck. Chain Frost comes out. Snapfire dies as well in the middle of that. And that's just going to be two dead heroes, Puck and Snapfire. on the side of Dire. Dire really needs to be coordinating all their non-Dusa heroes together to try and get kills. Like, Earthshaker needs to be there for the fight. To be able to get that echo to try and like stop the chain stuns with the fissure or whatever. And Ursa Lich are just gonna pair up once again out of the laning phase. They're gonna find that kill on that Earthshaker, just like good old times. Lion, meanwhile, is going to be draining the Centaur of all mana. Is going to be taking a lot of damage, though. He's basically forced to stand there and suck him off to get that BKB effect. Dreamcoil comes out. Kunkka doesn't really care, though. Still has that rum, as this puck has overcommitted, and that is now a... Yeah, well, I think it was already, but it's a Beyond Godlike for Emu. 13-07 on the Kunkka. What a monster this hero is. Ursa's just going to blink in, kill the Snapfire. Starting to feel like Radiant has the items they need to just pick off heroes at will. Dire really have not improved their gold situation in the last, it feels like, 6 or 7 minutes or so. And I apologize for the pop-ups. Let's get rid of those. There we go. As mid tier 2 falls, Dire only has the tier 1 top remaining, and Radiant are going to run down to Roche Pit and transition this into an Aegis pickup. I would put this on the Kunkka. You have the Radiance. Hero hasn't died yet, so psychologically, why do you need Aegis if you're not dying? You're also a higher level than the Ursa, but they're going to put it on the Ursa, the hero that likes to jump in and right-click and put themselves in danger to get kills. Kunkka is a little more durable and elusive. Vision is gonna catch the puck. Puck Yules. That does mean the Orchid is now unpurgeable. Puck just gonna run into base. Ursa does not follow up. Did not have Blink to try and secure that kill. And it's extremely difficult to push into this Dire team. You're contending with Dreamcoil, Echo Slam, Mortimer's Kisses. You cannot just walk 5 heroes high ground. As the Kunkka TP stop. And you really want to look for kills and try and get a pick off. Try and like force a really bad fight on the side of Dire. Dusa feels these Radiant heroes closing in, is going to TP away to the other side of the map and continue farming. Medusa working towards that butterfly now. As Radiant are just going to take the time to go take this tier 2. And I'm curious to see... Actually, they're going to be going Tormentor as well, so taking multiple objectives at the same time. Ursa could solo this. Choosing to wait for his team, though, so to not put Enrage on cooldown. Shard will be going on to the Chaos Knight. Chaos Knights is not awful on support CK. Causes Chaos Bullet to create a Phantasm Illusion to attack the target. This illusion deals 30% less damage. It's okay. If you have such a massive lead where the Lion on the enemy team has less than 1,000 hit points, it's pretty good because that illusion still does quite a bit of damage, even if you don't have any damage items. And Puck is gonna get wrapped on by the CK. I don't know if they actually see Puck. They have vision here. Arcane. Centaur now definitely sees the Centaur. Puck just not fast enough. Ooh, just gets out of there. Do they have anything? Teleports out. Ooh, nice escape by the Puck there. So Radiant wasting a bit of time. They know that the high ground push is pretty hard. They're going to catch this Lion here. I imagine this hero is just going to die. Well, not if the Sister Shroud is going to keep him alive. Nice evasion ticks there by that neutral item. And that might be the kill that gives Radiant the confidence to go high ground. Lion is not a huge part of their team fight. Oh no, this Puck's in danger. It doesn't matter if you go to the orb or if you stay. Yeah, Puck messed up there. Did kill the creep wave, but it got in range enough to proc backdoor, so they're just going to be able to go high ground. Ursa has a BKB. It's just dying a tower. Actually, is Blink? Has blink? Chooses not to blink, so that's gonna pop Aegis. As CK is gonna pull Medusa high ground. Medusa is already 0 fucking mana. We have a Echo Slam on the side to try and bring down the supports. Supports go down. CK now in a lot of trouble, or Centaur now in a lot of trouble. He's getting very low, but 4 or 5 heroes dead on the side of Dire. Wow, that was a messy fight. I don't even know how to, how to break that down. Game, can you give me a breakdown of that? All I saw was Earthshaker went backline. Actually, we have Puck go in, right-clicking the Kunkka, brings the Kunkka down. That's probably going to cost the Puck its life, but that is the godlike streak. 2,000 gold going to Puck. And Radiant has yet to kill the Rax. Dire Heroes are respawning, opting to hold on to those buybacks instead of trying to preserve these Rax. Although, if they're not careful, these heroes are about to get in range and potentially catch them, but Double Blink Dagger is going to get Centaur and Ursa out of there. I want to see the fight breakdown, but I think I missed it because the Puck did that play. That is completely tragic. You really should, Ice Frog, if you're watching this, please have like a slider where you can see past team fights and see what happened in them. I think what happened is the Earthshaker went on the backline supports and killed them, while the rest of Dire went deep and killed all of Dire's heroes. I imagine there was like a Centaur stun and a boat that did a lot of damage. Dusa just got like 0 mana at the start of the fight without getting Stone Gaze off. And the Puck was dead that entire time. So honestly, not a bad showing by Dire. They do lose the Rax, but they're so far behind anyway that getting those kills is so massive. I'm sure the graph doesn't agree with me. But it's stabilizing-ish in terms of win probability. Golden XP, no, they just continue to go higher. CK is feeling so confident that this level 14 CK is just gonna try and solo kill the Puck. Does not get the silence off. Ooh, Echo Slam on the back, trying to kill this Lich. Pops the Lich. Mortar Resistance Kisses comes out. Kills that CK. Secures that kill. And the Stone Gaze on the Medusa is kind of funny. She pops that so early just in case Radiant's heroes are around. She does not want to be caught without Stone Gaze again, because that is how she died last time. But nice chunk of change, 2,500 going back to Dire there for 4's. As you love to see those solo Echo Slams, just a bowl of hate. Puck gonna get caught again, dies again in the mid lane. I don't even know if Kunkka actually pressed X. I think it was literally just a blink Centaur. Got the Puck. Yeah, literally just a blink Centaur and like a right click from Kunkka. So Puck has been creating a lot of space this game. A lot of positioning. Snapfire. Oh no, don't stay for that creep snap. It's death. Ooh, gets visioned, but the X comes out. Boat comes out. Committing the boat for that kill. That's surprising, actually. And they're just going to start whacking on this next set of racks. No Mortimers. Puck is respawning, so you will have that Dream Coil. Just all these tanky melee heroes on the side of our Plasma's Legend. Just very difficult to find these kills without your whole team here. Dusa, oh, it gets the nice silence onto Dusa. Gets torrented up. She does have Stone Gaze, holding onto it for the time being. And they're not going to give up these racks with just a little bit of fight. Puck goes in, Dream Coil, so these heroes are locked in position. Dusa probably needs to Stone Gaze. There it is. But the Puck dies at that point. They are pretty stacked. If only they have Echo Slam, 1 second Echo Slam, they have it now. Lion is going to start falling. Nice Echo onto 4, kills CK and Ursa. As Kunkka's just gonna run out of there. Keeping him alive. And it cost a 9-second BKB and a Puck, but and a set of racks. Well, one melee racks top. This can't be right. Oh wait, that's XP. Okay, I thought that was damage. But Radiant, even with 2 heroes dead, they're sticking around top. They're looking for some kind of pickup here. Medusa is showing, but Radiant feeling pretty cocky right now. They're just maintaining a aggressive posture. Centaur is going to find a nice double stun onto Snap, Lion, AoE Chain Frost, Lich has Axe, followed up by the Torrent. Just all the AoE stun is just going to explode these Dire heroes, these supports. And I suppose the saving grace is that these supports are not worth that much, about 300 a pop. Yeah, about a 1300 gold swing. And their def respawns are not that long because they're so underleveled. We'll keep net worth up for now. Sometimes I like to put it on buyback late game, but we're not at that stage yet. I'm checking my stream once again, just making sure everything's okay. Yep, everything seems fine. Shout out to Samsung, who is the only commenter thus far for this stream. We have a Roshan number 2 attempt by Radiant. They're going to be getting banner off this one. Dire's not even thinking about contesting. They're so far behind. Really, the only hero that we need to be looking at is Medusa, as items don't really make... Well, pucks go in magic damage like traditional puck, not the carry build, so items don't really make these non-Dusa heroes on Dire that much stronger. You can maybe consider like a refresher. Oh no, Dusa getting caught out. That is a huge kill. They're gonna have to force that. They're gonna force that buyback here. Unfortunately for 4's, she does have buyback, and Radiant does not have creeps. Radiant now realizes that they actually do have creeps, so they don't have to go back all the way back to where Puck is cutting the wave, and they're just gonna be able to right-click this high ground. Alright, how do you start this fight? Does Puck go in Dream Coil? Do you start with Echo Slam? Do you wait for the creep wave for Echo Slam? His racks are dying. Radiant is not even in the same zip code. They are just staying so far away from this team fight. Dire's probably begging him, please, Senpai, just stack together in a little box so we can get all our spells off. Please, pretty please. But nope. Radiant just has 2 heroes on the front line. You have a guy with Heart. He's basically unpokable, and Ursa, who has Aegis, who's also unpokable. Puck is going to blink in. Echo to save the Puck for the time being. Dusa holding on to the buyback for now. No one's died thus far. Ursa's just going to turn on the line, kill the line. Mortimer's Kiss is coming out. Puck is going to die immediately thereafter as well. Mortimer's is going to pop the Aegis. As the Earthshaker dies in the back. Snap goes down. Dusa trying to do her best. She's getting chain stunned. Finally pops Stone Gaze, but she has 0 mana. It's just going to start right-clicking, but she's going to go down. She's has the buyback, instantly pops it. Earthshaker goes in, no echo. Just going to just explode instantly. And I'm honestly surprised that Dire has not GG'd out of this yet. You're 37,000 gold behind. You just lost a fight where you lost 6 heroes. You got 1 Aegis. There's the GG. ybabts is going to call it for their team. And yeah, what can I say about that game? That game was very similar to the prior game I watched where Dire, they had a Dusa, the opponent of our Plasma's Legend had a Dusa, and they just tried to delay as long as possible for that Dusa to become relevant. But it just never happened. This Puck kept getting caught out and dying. Earthshaker did an amazing job with those Echo Slams, kept them in the game for quite a long time. Appears that there is a patch, so we're going to be taking a quick break here to relaunch Dota. But yeah, I mean, I want to say clean game. There was a couple missteps, but like at the very end there, you kind of see Radiant, our Plasma's Legend got their shit together. Just realizing they don't want to really team fight, so you just put the Centaur and the Aegis Ursa high ground to right-click buildings, and then just force them to commit into a bad play. And that's all she wrote. That's game 1. Game 2's coming up. Stick around to see the conclusion of this little best of two. All right, we're back. Looks good on this end. Okay. However, everyone, welcome back to Phase Circuit Season 8. Game 2 of our Pause When His Legend versus 4's. Our Pause When His Legend took Game 1 in this series. Someone is chatting me. Doesn't matter. Okay. All right. Our Pause When His Legend took Game 1 in the series. A pretty decisive victory. They were able to pick up a lot of heroes that they've enjoyed a great success with in this season. And we're going to see an immediate respect ban by 4's with that ban Kunkka. I'm trying to recall what the exact bans were. I'm trying to parse the match. There we go. All right, what were the bans? Okay. So the bans on our Pause When His Legend is identical. They ban an additional hero. I need to close out TeamSpeak. There we go. They get to ban an additional hero and they ban out the Rasta. Rasta is a very strong meta support right now. And 4's, they don't change up their bans that much. They stick with the Clockwork Axe bans, and they also ban out the Kunkka this time, in place of Silencer and or Dawn. They will pick up the Venge on 4's, and this is a flex hero who is the highest win rate hero of the patch right now. Has like a 60% win rate in the 2 and 3 roles. So best lane for Venge is the off lane, but this is absolutely a flex pick that isn't really counterable. That you can just shove in any lane and is very strong right now. So CK doesn't get banned once again, and they're going to pick it again. I'm not sure if like you can really pick out one hero that 4 struggled with last game that they can point out and say, yeah, this is the hero we needed to we couldn't solve, and so that we lost because of that. It was really just an outdraft, I feel, or at least our Pause When His Legend drafted to their strengths, which is like win lanes, win game, not necessarily the team fight coordination, and they got away with it as they've done many times this league. So I would expect a very similar draft to last game. You'd probably swap out the Kunkka for something like Queen of Pain, which is played by their mid Emu quite a bit. And if you're 4's, I would be trying to think, as I make sure they can't hear me. There's a little bug that sometimes the players in the game can hear me. But anyway, if I was 4's, I would be trying to think what kind of draft punishes this kind of win lanes, win game extremely hard. And there's a couple of ways you can go about it. You could try and pick split push heroes. You could just pick a bunch of like heroes that you're very comfortable with that you think are going to win lanes. And if you're able to win the lanes, then that breaks the win lane, win game part of the formula. Venge is a pretty strong laner, so you're off to a good start with that. You could also pick up saves to try and like have support stand behind whatever cores you pick, because if you have these heroes running in at whatever hero A is an excellent example. If you have these like heroes, these last game I think it was like 4 melee heroes plus a lich running in on whatever hero they see, then you want heroes that can punish that like dive in. And Ancient Apparition is an excellent choice for that. Very good counter initiation hero. If you go in, expect to just get ice blasted. And all you need is just a little bit of damage on top, maybe a bit of disable to keep them pinned down. Lena is a excellent combination with that. So you have 3 ranged heroes versus 2 melee heroes so far. And last game it was Earthshaker they picked, and it was like a 3 Earthshaker, although Earthshaker really didn't have that much gold by the end of the game, so it was more of like 2 4's with between the Snapfire and the Earthshaker. I could see this being an offlane Venge. I think they're going to move it around depending on what the best lane matchup is. That's another nice thing about Venge is she's so flexible that it doesn't feel bad to put her in whatever lane she needs to go. If you are our pause one as legend, I would be pretty scared about this draft right now. Lena wins lanes. I would expect this to be a mid Lena. It could also be like a one Lena. You don't want to draft more tanky run-in melee heroes, which they do right now, because AA is going to just ice blast you, and it's going to be very difficult. Timbersaw got banned last game in the final ban phase, and you could absolutely see that get picked up versus this amount of strength melee run at you heroes. Like if they have a Timber player on 4-4s, this is a excellent game to pick that. Just need some kind of frontliner to punish all these run-in heroes. You could maybe look at like a Bristleback, but Bristleback is not very strong right now. But like something of that nature, like Timbersaw, Bristleback, something frontline for your Lena, then JA to coordinate on. Something very unburstable. I mean, if our Pulse Zojin wants to continue with this strategy, they go Weaver. So that's going to be the replacement for the Ursa, since our Plasmona's Legend did ban out their own Ursa. Weaver is going into 3 stunners and high burst damage. What's nice about Weaver though is you can time lapse HP back from the like through a ult. So like a pretty nice feature to have when playing against AA. Weaver along with like Terrorblade Sunder and like Void's Q with that HP reset lets you survive a little bit longer through that. But it kind of feels like a bad like it's nice because Weaver is really strong versus like squishy backliners, which you could say that all of the 3 heroes here on the side of Dire are squishy backliners. But it doesn't feel good to pick Weaver into this amount of burst. I think they're just expecting all this front line to be soaking up the attention to allow the Weaver to like run around and deal damage. Venomancer is a unusual answer to this amount of tank. Veno plus AA is a very classic combo because Veno traditionally was like the most potent, reliable AoE damager in the game. The only issue with his damage was that it took so long to apply, like over the course of 15 seconds or whatever it is, that enemies would just heal up during it, and so it wasn't really like that X amount of damage. But if you combo that with an AA, all of a sudden it's 100% damage, and it does a ton. So you have, like, if you can survive on 4-4s long enough, like the Venomancer ult plus AA ult would just be enough to end fights and kill entire teams combo together. Our Puzzle Legend has to be very careful to not group up and get multi-hero A8 and Venoed. Got to pay attention to those 2 heroes because those 2 heroes, A and Veno, are like the primary source of damage right now on 4-4s. They have no frontliner. They have lane winners, but they have no frontliner. It's going to be difficult to push high ground. I guess Lena could right click from low ground. You can put like plague wards down, give you vision, and push high ground with that. Our Plasma's Legend bans out the Medusa, so we're not going to see that again. They also ban out Sniper, which honestly would be pretty good this draft. They pick Odie almost instantly, just getting rid of that Pugna because Pugna is really annoying for Odie to contend with. And Primal for whatever reason. I guess to try and disrupt team fights. I think you're looking at a mid pick here on our Pause One is Legend. And this is a very scary, high damage draft on Dire. And they kind of lack a lot of damage. They've picked Quap before for Emu. They're running out of time, so they have a lot of time to think about this. I could see Quap just to give them a little bit of extra damage. But they go with Storm, who's fairly close to Queen of Pain. Storm is very nice in this game because he can jump onto this backline very easily. I don't think Storm does particularly well versus OD. I mean, Storm has a mana pool, which is a nice defense versus the ult, Sandy's Eclipse. So you can you can pick off heroes if they're ever out of position on Storm. I think that's what they're trying to go for. And Storm does solve a little bit of their damage issues. I think Storm needs to have a good game this game for Radiant to best utilize their draft. So overall, draft-wise, I think 4's requires a lot more coordination with their abilities. Like individually, the heroes on Dire are pretty weak. It's when they get together that they're extremely potent. Like the combo they're trying to do is pretty obvious. They want to do A blast into Venult into Odiult. They have a bit of pickoff potential with Swap or Lena, having a good game and running around with boost travel and Flame Guard and getting pickoffs that way. And as Arpaz when is Legend, you have to be very cautious about not running too close together and getting Ice Blasted and Venomancer ulted, because that will destroy your team no matter what heroes you have. Probably expect to see pipes and magic or glimmer capes galore on the side of Radiant as we have the game starting off. I'll pause my lane predictions until I see the lanes. And it seems like we might have a similar spiel to last game. Veno's out of position though, so no Veno for the start of this. Both teams smoking up, running towards each other, but Radiant's going to try to do a wraparound play. Dire's pretty split up right now. They're kind of positioned cautiously in front of their towers. Our Radiant is more coordinated, looking for picks as a team. A is going to have smoke broken, so A knows that there's a issue there. Uses Ice Vortex. That is not a spell you really want to have level 1. So Radiant does get that small victory where they secure that Ice Vortex pick up on AA. You generally want to pick some kind of nuke to secure the range creep, which is why AAs usually go Chilling Touch to try and secure that. You could also potentially go Cold Feet to try and stun heroes away from the range creep so they can't deny it. Ice Vortex is kind of just the worst of all worlds. Or the worst of those 3 options. So it seems like it's going to be a support of Venge. Yeah, okay, so DF Jono on Venge supporting ybabts on the 3 Venomancer. We have Drabs on the Undying, who's going to be supporting Granola on the Weaver. A is getting caught out of position here. CK has the stun, chooses not to dive the tower. And that's a nice bit of trading. Oh no, AA. You came out, you got punished. First blood going the way of Seal, killing Samsung on that AA. Unfortunate. This CK here is just very strong stat-wise, level 1. 5 armor, 64 damage with just the Iron Branch. Alina's going to be protecting her courier a little bit, but she's losing CS for this play right now. Waiting for that Ancient Apparition to come up. CK loves heroes like Ancient Apparition, where they're slow, they're squishy, they don't have a lot of right-click damage or harass with their spells. And yeah, kind of a dream lane for that CK there. In the mid lane, Ewa's going to be playing Storm Spirit, facing off against Sevil on the OD. I believe this is OD favored. Although Puck did not have a great performance last game. It was versus a Kunkka. Puck just didn't dodge the spells effectively enough to really win the lane, as I remind myself to put the last hits up. But we'll see if this should be a matchup that favors OD. In the bottom lane, Weaver Undying. That's a very scary lane. Got to be careful about getting caught out of position. Undying provides a lot of damage amp and damage or tankiness to whatever lane he's in. He's kind of a lane winner. Weaver is also a lane winner. So Odie's getting very low mid. I should probably just watch the mid lane. Let's be honest. This is a pretty important lane. It's very important for Storm to win this lane. I feel for Dire to have a good game. Lena's getting gone on top. Gets stunned up by the CK. But she's going to be able to scare them off for now. Mars is getting abilities up, though, and Drabs is just around the corner with that stun. Lena's got to be so cautious not to go, like, right here. If Lena goes right here, she's dead. CK tries to go for it, but not in a position. Gonna go for it anyway. Stuns up the Lena. Spear comes out. Misses on the tower. Ooh, the stun by Lena. Stuns up CK, but she dies without being there for the XP on that CK. So definitely favored towards our Plasma as Legend there. Even if the gold was not. Mid lane, Storm is winning last hits versus Odie as Veno dies, and oh yeah, this looks like the CK rotated bottom. Easy double pickup. CK just leveraging the hero. Did not have that many rotations early game last game, but does so now. Picks up 2 kills. This AA needs to start bullying this Mars. This Mars is not allowed to be in lane with the CK gone. CK did rotate top though. And so we may see a go up here. CK doesn't really have the mana for both spells. It's going to find the Lena. But I don't think that's going to transition to anything. Venge coming bottom to secure the water room. What a nice person. And I'm just paying attention now, trying to see if there's any other rotations, as the game has calmed down quite a bit. That was a nice rotation by CK, opened up that lane a little bit bottom, definitely gave them a nice little advantage. And this Weaver and Dying here are definitely a duo that makes good use of gold. We have actually a rotation by the Venge onto Storms. TP's coming out, though, multiple TPs. Odie's going to die for this, but can he get the kill on the Storm? Uses W, oh no, gets visioned. Stun comes out by the CK. So 2 rotations, they do not get the Storm. And that is tragic. 400 gold swing going the way of Radiant. CK is just having a very fun game, running around, finding kills with this 385 move speed. Lena, oh no. Lena's in danger. Drabs, or Seal waiting for that reality, or that mana for Reality Rift, is going to get bullied away by the AA, but he's hunting. LSA comes out. Lena has the Tango available, not using it. And that's going to be a aborted kill attempt. Lena not having fun in lane, only 13 CS, but the good news for 4's is Weaver is also not having a very fun game. Only 16 CS at 6 minutes versus Venomancer and Venge. It is difficult to lane if you don't have some kind of regen, and Weaver does not have regen. Weaver is pretty squishy. So I would expect our pause when his legend kind of repeats what they did in game 1, where it seems like lane is going pretty well for them once this Storm gets ult. Oh, nice play by Emu, baiting out the Sandy's Eclipse. I think if the Zodi just right-clicks the Storm, the Storm dies. This is going to be really funny if Storm dies here. Oh, the evasion uphill. Venomancer dies bottom. They dive. Undying's going for the wisdom, but he's just gonna die to tower. Unusual play. That was a sick play by Storm. They're baiting with the illusion, the Sanity's Eclipse, and then trying to transition that into a kill. Looks like Avenge was able to secure that. CK was in the bushes looking around, but not fast enough to get that wisdom. That would have been tragic if CK got that kill there. There are so many wards mid. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? This ward was placed like recently too by Drabs. If this Odie is able to get high ground, this is Odie's ward. This is like 400 gold right here. And Storm kind of realizes that he's going to deny one of these wards. CK top. Looks like they dropped the arena to try and get a kill, but CK got a little bit too low. Ooh. Seal doesn't have any resources now, so Mars is going to have to back off here. So failed kill attempt on top with the arena. And Mars is just going to go on the Lena now as the support's kind of just like backed away. This feels completely illegal. Lena just dies. The supports, where are you guys? Now the Mars is going to run away with phase boots. There is a DD bottom. Storm is going to burn all mana to get it. Ooh, Odie does not get the W off in time. And that's going to be a DD on the Storm pickup. Never kill bottom. Lanes are just kind of feel like they're exploding all over the place. The only lane that's not doing it horribly is mid, as Odie has actually come back in terms of CS. Storm has not rotated just yet. AA gets found by the CK, pulled in, stunned, dead. As Avenge is just running around trying to find something to do. I imagine that these lanes are feeling pretty hopeless. Weaver now with ult, a very difficult kill. Odie getting caught a little out of position mid lane. CK is close, just out of range for those spells. Quite a bit of action here. Getting a little breathless from all this talking. As Dire have moved top. Looks like they're showing a lot of heroes under tower. As Veno Plague Ward CK sees the CK. So Dire knows that Radiant are responding to this somewhat. Lena desperately needs Laguna Blade to help with kills. Veno desperately needs ult. Venge desperately needs like all these Dire heroes. They just need ults, and their game gets a lot better once they get those ults. Like Veno ult, swap, A blast. We have a Mars arena now top. They're just gonna pick off the Lena. A now getting very low. Venge and Veno are nearby. They're gonna be coming up to try and get a counter kill on this Mars. Stun comes out. This Mars is very fast though. Oh, miss on the Venomous Gale. Mars is going to be able to get out, man. Now Radiant are trying to turn this around. Veno is getting a right click by the CK, running into Plague Wards. We now have a TP in by Alina. Have Radiant bitten off more than they could chew. They're going to go for the Chaos Knight. LSA comes out. But without swap or like Veno ult, these reliable ways to catch heroes, it's very difficult for Dire to secure kills. Odie comes up here now. They really want to try and find something. They're going to find a... which hero is this? Undying. Stuns come out. Sanity's Eclipse. Avenge is alive long enough to get that XP, but she does fall. So that ends up being a 2-for-1. CK did die here. I think CK died to the... yeah, CK died to the edge of the Sanity's Eclipse. That's pretty funny. Weaver did take the bottom tower because of that. Little skirmish up top. As Odie fights with the Storm mid. They now have ultimates on these at least one of the supports, Venomancer and Laguna Blade. And you can see now these Radiant heroes aren't so scary when you can just burst them like that. They just need A to have ult. And they're gonna be cooking on Dire here. Venge did pick up 6 in the bottom lane. AA is probably just one creep wave away. Veno doing a good job of recognizing that the CK didn't have stun, just TP's away after getting caught out of position. Weaver is just chilling in this bottom lane, just pushing it, slow siege in the tower. No one has come down here other than the Venge to try and like push this Weaver away. And so Weaver's gonna get the free farm. Meanwhile, mid, Mars does rotate, gets the arena off onto Odie. I am missing every goddamn kill this god. I apologize for that. I'm going to try to lock in. Odie did go down to the Mars and Storm combined mid. Storm Spirit has picked up Illusion or Invis, but it just pops. It doesn't really care about the Invis on a hero like Storm, who can just zip in. No arena means it's a little bit difficult to take a fight for Radiant. And you're going to be fighting into AA Blast now. So, pretty scary no matter how you cut it. This Weaver is just chilling down here. Gonna get bursted down a little bit. I think Granola needs to ult here? No. Pops the one, secures that. I'm no longer locked in. I'm just looking around. Ooh, we have a rotation by the Lina. Laguna Blade comes out. Ooh, the Q at the very edge of the range from the level 1 Dragon Slave. 85 damage is enough to pop that Weaver. Storm does rotate. Goes for the easy kill. Gets that AA, so do get something out of it, but definitely Dire favored thus far, but it's not over yet as Storm is going to jump in on Lina, stunned up by the CK. They're running. They're just trying to get in the tower. Dire don't really want to fight anymore. But Radiant are kind of taking a little bit of damage. They've committed Tombstone, and now the Odie is here. They're just going to right-click that tomb down. So no tomb. Do you want to take a fight as Dire? You have no Laguna for 20. You have no Vano ult for 40. Probably not. But they're going to be hanging around trying to push this lane anyway. Weaver just goes mid. Starts working on this mid tower. Very annoying bug hero. And Radiant are going to just simply take the top tower, as Dire are not having a great time pushing. We're going to have a TP in by Mars, who has the Blink Dagger. I don't know if this is revealed yet, but we're going to see a stun out on Lina. This is going to be the fattest fucking arena. Nope, short changes it. Gets the Lina though. Sports can't do anything about it. Where's the Storm? Storm is going on the Venomancer. Oh, 1 millisecond off that Remnant getting the kill on Venomancer. Nice TP out. Odie, meanwhile, comes in late, trying to find something. Has that Midas, hoping the game goes late. And Mars is not going to hunt any longer. It's a very weird game in terms of timings, because unless Dire has items, they don't really want to be the ones starting fights. And you have like multiple long cooldown abilities. Oh no, the arena or the spear pushes the Lina into the CK, and so that's going to secure the demise of the CK. Venom goes out onto Undying, whiffs on the Venomous Gale though, and so that's going to be the end of that as Undying just TP's out of there. As I was saying, unless Dire has items, it's kind of hard for them to start fights, and so it's really on the onus of Radiant to start fights. And so Storm is available always, but Arena's a big cooldown, which is just coming off cooldown actually, and Tomb is also a big cooldown. So without those spells, it's a little difficult for Radiant to win fights. There's just a lot of save and bullshit on the side of Dire. Mars is calling in for the wraparound play. I imagine he's telling his team to start the fight. Mars blinks in, has Arena, isolates the Odie from the rest of his team. There's an AA blast. I'm not sure who it hit, what it hit. Odie goes down. Doesn't matter. TP out by the Venomancer. Is not going to get away this time, as ybabts just dies. Meanwhile, Venge is going to get cleaned up at the end of that. And that is a clean 3-0. Mars with that nice flanking maneuver, isolating the OD, picking him off. OD is a lot of your burst right now. Without that hero, it's very difficult for you to win fights. CK rotating mid, trying to find the Lena. She's going to TP top, though. Get that farm up there. And we've seen enough of last hits. What do we have for net worth? Sorry for touching the mic. Net worth, pretty similar to last game. All of the Radiant's cores are ahead of their Dire peers, although this time it's not too hopeless basket cases on the side of Dire. Now they have Nina and Odie with competitive net worth. Not the greatest, but it's competitive. And it's a little difficult for you to push tier 2s with Radiant Draft. I imagine they're more interested in just farming up items and getting objectives like Torment or Roshan. Though it seems like Dire are running down here trying to find Undying. Undying just gotta get out of there though. Skedaddle out of there. A is going to place a ward under vision, so I expect that's going to get dewarded. So this nice thing about Dire's draft is I think they're even less reliant on items to do a ton of damage with the Veno ult and the AA ult. And the Lina comes online a lot earlier than Medusa. Go on mid, find Avenge. Not much to say about that. Arena down south finds the AA as well, so both supports getting picked off on the side of Dire. Dire just contentedly farming up level 8 Venomancer. I hate to see that on your core. Very low level. Lina is... Actually, we have a solo kill by Odie onto Draps. Nice pick off there. I'm trying to see where the heroes are. Looks like Storm... Okay, Storm may have been in a bad position, but I was looking at Lina because CK was going onto the Lina, but it seems like that did not turn into anything. CK is sticking around, wants to go on this Lina, who's still pretty squishy right now. When boots of travel, actually. That is interesting. Oh no, Storm's in position. Mars has Blink stun. This is a very dead Lina. Just a little bit too far under vision. AA Blast comes out just to signify the end of that that Dire hero. I hate to say it, but as Dire, you kind of have to do what you did last game, where you're just hoping that Radiant overcommits and they stack heroes together, and then you just punish them with the Venom ult and the AA ult. Plus the Sandy's Eclipse. We actually have Weaver just going on a Odie. Just a little solo pick off there, 467 gold going the way of Weaver. It just feels like these Dire heroes are not individually strong, and so they can't be alone. And these two supports on Radiant, Undying, CK are just going to be running around looking for picks, and then Storm is going to be able to back them up basically wherever they are on the map with that jump in. So you can't really like do these independent operations. You have to stick together on the side of Dire, but if you're doing that, you're losing out on the XP and gold even more than you're already doing. Because Weaver's just been free farming this whole game. Storm has basically just been free farming close to supports, and then jumping in whenever it's a good fight. So like, and I'm not even sure if they win late game on Dire. Like Storm Weaver's pretty strong late game. Like Odie's good, but I feel like he plateaus. We might have a jump here by Radiant. They're setting up for this Odie top. Might be a reason why Odie went Midas. It kind of feels a little bit awkward as a Dire to like start things. You have to really get Radiant together to be able to win a conclusive team fight, I feel. And the only way to do that is to basically defend an objective. Radiant does have very nice vision down. They're going to see the OD. Storm blinks in, pops Orchid. Nice swap out by the Venge is going to keep the OD alive. All of Radiant is... Well, 4 Radiant heroes up here. Arena comes down onto 2. Miss on the spear. OD just drops the Sanities before dying. OD is the only one to die thus far. Magic Missile comes out to secure the kill on Mars. Undying is just going to TP out there. Nope. LSA comes out. Laguna to finish him off. That's exactly the fight that Dire was looking for, where they're kind of like clumped up, where you can fight them under tower, under vision, all together. Just stack all these spells on top of each other to bring down individual targets, and it's just so hard to win a long team fight as Radiant into Noxious Plague and Ice Blast. CK and Venom are going to see each other. Gil comes out, doesn't hit. Venge was not in position to swap. Weaver has not been a factor thus far. So I'm wondering what kind of items the Weaver is hoping to have before Weaver wants to start fighting. They're working towards Daedalus. We have Smoke Play by Radiant. They find Venom, pin him to the wall. Dire does not have spells really to be fighting, and Radiant know that, and so they're just going to be running at these heroes. Storm getting very low. Gets disarmed by the CK. What an unlucky roll on the irrationality. Oh my goodness. Break would have been good. Silence would have been good. Disarm secures the Storm his life. That is tragic. That is absolutely tragic. Yeah, there was no Vanguard or anything. Radiant going to take the top Tormentor. Very good game read by Radiant to try and force that fight with the Noxious Plague and AA Blast down. And they just get those nice 2 pickoffs, along with the Tormentor. Shard goes to the CK once again. And we're probably going to go here by OD. Nope, OD feeling it out. Gets out of there. I feel like you defend this tower. This is like a very easy way to fight together. Force the enemy to... or force Radiant to be together so you can drop spells on them. Storm is not in position. Starting to walk that way now. Lina is also not in position. Lina has 8 seconds on TP. There's going to be a fight starting. CK goes in on the OD. Disarms him as well. That irrationality is very good when it goes your way. Have a TP by Mars. They find Lina. Storm just jumps in. I'm not even sure if they needed the Mars there. Storm just alone does a ton of damage to that Lina. But that's a Lina pickoff. And that's exactly the kind of thing that Radiant want to try and find. They want to try and get these pickoffs, secure themselves more space to make it easier for them to crack these tier 2s. The first tier 2 will fall mid. Actually, bottom wasn't there. I wonder what... I didn't see when bottom died. I think Weaver just took it at some point. But second tier 2 dies. Odie is going to be seen, but not caught, as Mars is in the area looking for picks. Radiant just trying to find Dire outside their base right now. Venom's going to be showing top. Weaver's going to see him. And that's going to be very dead Venom, as this Weaver's pretty farmed at this point. Likely just going to be an easy tier 2 tower. "26 minutes, only or 17,000 gold advantage for Radiant. These heroes are pretty leveled on the side of Radiant. They've just been winning fights basically all game. The true test is going to be to see if they can crack high ground. I apologize for yawning. I'm just exhausted all of a sudden. But we're sticking through it. It's going to be, true test is going to see if they can crack high ground. They're going to go for Roche. Probably put it on the Weaver. Weaver's going to be the one who wants to be hitting high ground. Weaver is still a ways off from BKB. So they won't have BKB for the next fight if they decide to try and force high ground with this Aegis. And I think Dire are just kind of like finding farm where they can. Oh no. Odie shows with the Weaver White right next to him. I think ODW to creep as well. And just dives to this very strong Weaver right now. Odie doesn't really have the items to be surviving a right-click battle with the Weaver. That's probably going to make the Weaver very cocky, though. I'm sure Granola is saying to himself, guys, I'm really strong. Let's push high ground. I can so after seeing that. But you have to be careful. You have to be careful about the strapped on Dire. Oh god, my voice is going. Oh god. Dire does not seem very content to defend this. Vena's just farming. Nina was farming top, but goes back to base now. Long range CK. Oh no, whiff on the Ice Blast. That's going to be the dinner bell for Radiant as they're going to run in, drop the arena. Lena actually gets astraled by Odie during her BKB. Probably not what the Odie wanted to do. But Radiant just get a reset. They're going to back up. Alright, my voice is going. I got to take a drink of water. 1 second. Alright, we have some water in us. That should keep me going for about another 5 minutes. Another long range pull by CK, followed up by Mars Spirit to force this Lena outside base. No BKB available to keep the Lena alive. Teammates not in position with the spells they need to keep Lena alive either. And will this be high ground? You're still going into Noxious and Ice Blast. So it's very difficult. Like, Radiant really want to be, like, doing these kind of pickoffs or, like, go on them multiple different directions. CK blinks in, finds the Venge. Ice Blast comes out, is going to hit the Mars. As Radiant just kind of splitting up, pushing separate towers now. Weaver just right-clicks the Venomancer down. 3 heroes dead on the side of Dire. And that's the ultimates down on these. Oh my goodness, that A exploded. The item difference is coming into play here as Emu, Godlike, 9-0, Weaver, 7-1. Very farmed up on these heroes, and Dire were just hoping to get away with having these abilities to win fights, but Radiant just outplayed them. Just simply outplayed them, getting these kind of pickoffs, isolating these Dire heroes, never really sticking together when all of the ultimates were available on the side of Dire. And very well done by our pause when it's legend. They secured 2 sets of racks. Start walking top. No Noxious. Ice Blast is available. We're probably going to see one last hurrah here by 4's. But at this point, I think the item difference is just too strong. They're going to need to find some kind of hard secure. The CK is going to isolate the Venomancer once again. Burst that hero down. Does have buyback. Pops it immediately. Then swap Storm. Gets the Ice Blast off onto Storm. Astral onto the Storm. I don't think that's what you wanted to do. Storm's just going to ult out of there now. Weaver is BKB'd up, and Mars comes in with the arena, isolating the Venomancer from his team. AA is also just kind of out of position. A is going to go down. LSA comes out. Storm now goes in. Very low HP. Gets that AoE stun off with the Aghanims. Still has the Aegis. As Radiant are just kind of farming Dire outside their fountain. Odie's still pretty strong, though. Just one right click from Odie on these low heroes will be enough to bring them down. He has no blink, though. So they just need to have some kind of gap control to be alright. Weaver is looking for the backdoor invitation to go in. Storm is going to try and isolate Odie, followed up. Spear by Mars will kill the OE. These heroes are so low, but Weaver in the back lane is killing the supports. 5 dead on the side of Dire. And GG is called by Seevil? Seevil, yeah. Our pause, but as Legend continue to add on to their lead in the league. There's something like 15-1 or some shit. They have a ridiculous record. As they 2-0 for 4's. The Vegas odds were correct. So take a look at the stats right here. I just kind of felt like outdrafts, or at least our pause when Legends utilized their drafts more effectively than 4's did. You could kind of tell there at the end, like 4's was just so reliant on their Ancient Apparition and Venom to, land their spells to win team fights. And Radiant knew that, and they could just play around them and look for these kind of solo pickoffs. Like CK just like pulls in a hero, right? Like, do you really want to commit your those big ultimates onto the CK after that kind of pull? You have that kind of soft commit power with that CK to set the tone for fights. And 42 for 11, I think that was even more of a stomp than last game. Radiant did not really lose any team fights. It felt like you can kind of see like a hero here, a hero there. It kind of trickled in, but you like just multiple team fights lost on the side of Dire. Radiant locked in. And yeah, 2 pretty stompy games. Thank you all for watching. I've been Munchla/Black Joe. This series was featuring our Puzzles Legend versus 4's who 2-0. And wish you all a good night.